All right, and we're live. Sorry about the tech delay and the time delay, everybody. We had a little technical difficulties on our end, but we're here in the stream now, and I'm welcoming back my good friend of more than 3 decades, Mr. Rod Jean Charles. Welcome to the show, man. Welcome back.
Thanks
I
for having me
appreciate
again, man.
you taking the time to do this today.
No problem. Thanks for having me again. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, always a pleasure, bro. Um, okay, so today, yeah, yes, as always, as always. Okay, let's just get to it. Let's start with the intro. Hey, man.
Yeah, I can hear you.
This isn't working. It's too slow.
My internet's too slow.
I something is. I can't get the.
Hey,
Okay, I guess we can give this a try. I don't know what's going on here. We're having some technical difficulties with the Wi-Fi. I think that, or devices. That's just part of the game, I guess. It happens from time to time. But thank you for coming on. I really do appreciate it. We're talking about. I've seen this post many times, and no disrespect to the performers, because I know you got a long record out there in LA, working, on the screen and on the stage. Um, but I've seen this post, and it always says like in 2000 or in 2002, Marvel really got its start, and they show this picture of Tobey Maguire and like Kirsten Dunst in Spider-Man, and Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. And I always think to myself, what the fuck? Like 4 years before that, Wesley Snipes was doing it in Blade. You know, Wesley Snipes launched the platform for Marvel with Blade 5 years ago, and it's one of those movies that's just like, I don't know, it's just forgotten about, except among horror fans, like Marvel fans. These big MCU fans nowadays, and Disney with their pretentious, preachy bullshit, that they're putting out. They make no mention of this movie, and this movie was the movie that got Marvel, started. It's not, and it's nothing against Tobey Maguire or Kirsten Dunst or any of those people. And, they're not the ones making the post. But I've seen this repetitively over the past 20 years, that it started with Spider-Man and Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire. But the truth is, it started with Wesley Snipes and Blade.
yeah, they're definitely clean cut movies. Those Spider-Man and after, but the Blade movie's very gory. I think it was more set like a more of a horror thing, a lot more blood, a lot more killing, a lot more,
Well, it is. It's a much more. It's a horror movie. Blade's a horror character, and it's a hard R. It's a hard
Yes.
R-rated movie.
Yes.
One of the things that I've been thinking is that you can't. Well, we'll get into that later. For a lot of reasons, I don't think you could. I don't think Marvel could make a movie like this today. Which is something I kind of want to get into, but I want to hold that to the end, and it's a thought I won't forget. What a lot of people don't realize is that there were some original casting ideas for Blade that didn't involve Wesley Snipes. One of them was Denzel Washington. And we all know that, Denzel knows how to mix it up.
Yeah.
That would have been really interesting to see Denzel Washington. Another casting idea.
Did they turn down the roles, or they just decided to offer to Wesley?
I think they just decided to offer it to Wesley. And the other casting idea was Larry Fishburne. Now, I'm not talking about Lawrence Fishburne, now that he speaks with such gravitas. I'm talking about like Jimmy Jump from King of New York, 50 pounds ago, when Fishburne he played a lot of raw characters back in the 90s, man.
Who's Larry?
Yeah, Larry Fishburne. Before he became Lawrence with a U, he was Larry Fishburne. And, people forget he goes all the way back to Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, he played the kid on the boat.
Yeah. He was clean. He was clean, Mr. Clean.
It was his first ever acting performance, anything they've done before. That was the show. That was the movie that he did.
That would have been an interesting Larry Fishburne as Blade. That would have been an interesting attempt. I would have been intrigued by that.
It would have been interesting. Denzel, I'm not sure. I think he was a little too clean for that role, and that would destroy his image in a way. As in, he was always the good old American lover boy until later on in his career. But his early stuff was more. I think he was very cautious with the type of things he did. Now with who played Blade? With what's his name that played Blade?
Wesley.
Wesley, yes. He was known for his martial arts.
Yeah.
He was trained in martial arts. So I think that's why one thing about this movie is the action, the fighting scenes are incredible.
Yeah, it's a great martial arts film. It's a great martial arts film. Not only do you have vampires, you have great martial arts, great action. Blade is pulling out the guns. He's pulling out the swords. He's got the knives. He's got the spears. I mean, he's got everything that you need, to kill vampires. Hold on. We got some comments here. We got Eric. Eric's a friend of the show, and he's like, Cowboy Curtis, Larry Fishburne, or Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Yeah, Fishburne has a lot of credentials that, people I think don't realize. I think he, kind of made his bones when The Matrix came around, which was right around the corner from this.
This came out a year later.
Yeah. But, did it really? Did The Matrix come out in 97?
No, Matrix came out in 99. This came out first.
Okay.
This movie, it actually reminded me of The Matrix because the first big scene was that big fight scene which pulls you in. Yeah. And which pulls you in with that bloody dance. Those guys are dancing, blood falls all over them. Yeah. And it really pulls you in at the very beginning, and it catches you. And you have to find out what's going on. Same thing as The Matrix. That first scene in Matrix was incredible. It pulls you in, and then you just have to see
Carrie-Anne Moss. Yeah, that's a hell of a fight scene where she just dismantles those police officers.
Exactly.
Some other casting concepts. I mean, this is a great movie because it has a great supporting cast also. I mean, Wesley's a strong character, but you've got Abraham Whistler, and he's played by Chris Christopherson. And I think Chris Christopherson does a kick-ass job as Whistler. He's really great. But
I was shocked they killed him off. I was hoping he would come back to the second one.
He did. He is in the second one.
Is he in the second one? It's been a while.
He goes through the trilogy. He dies in the third one.
Oh, okay. All right. You don't really see him die in Blade. That's true.
It's just kind of implied. Yeah, he gives Whistler the gun, and he tells him to take a walk. And then you hear the gun discharge.
Yes. Okay.
Now, some other ideas for the role of Whistler. Go ahead.
One thing interesting about the casting of this movie is, do you know who that blonde lady was? The blonde one with the white outfit that was killing everybody?
The vampire? No. Go ahead. I recognize her. She definitely makes an impression, but I don't recall from where.
Tracy Lords.
Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, yeah. In the very beginning, yeah, Tracy Lords is in there. I mean, the movie's off to a wild ride, and Tracy Lords is, taking some guy to a rave. You're like, this guy is in deep fucking. This guy is like out of his depth. He's so fucking out of his depth. But
Oh,
I
okay.
thought that was kind of cool that they cast her.
It was interesting. I was shocked when I saw her name. I was
Yeah,
like, Tracy Lords, really? I'm like,
yeah.
okay, that was probably her first stint away from um her
I think,
prior life.
yeah, from her porn life. I think that yeah, I don't know that she has many credits, probably for cameos and brief B or C movies or something like that. I want to get back to some of this casting though. Tracy Lords aside, and I'm not going to put up any images of Tracy Lords. Uh, for Whistler, some of the other people that were considered was John Voight.
John Voight would have been great at Whistler.
John Voight would have been a great whistler. There's another character, and his name is um, oh Jesus, Patrick McGoohan, and he played Longshanks in Braveheart.
Oh, okay.
That would have been an interesting fucking cast.
That would have been, yeah. It's hard to top Chris Christopherson though. I mean,
It is,
he,
but Everett McGoohan, man, that would have been something.
he would have he might have done something to it, but I can't, now that Chris Christopherson did it, I can't see anybody else doing it. You know, once you
Yeah,
see
yeah,
something, you
yeah,
just
yeah.
can't imagine someone else. He just was so perfect for the role.
Yeah, no disrespect to Chris Christopherson. I mean, we're just talking about parallel universes. These guys were playing the role, like Fishburne and Denzel were playing the role. So on and so forth. Now, Blade is a vampire. He's got all the strengths of the vampire, but none of the weaknesses. He can move around in daylight, and silver and garlic, and none of these things do anything to him. But he does have the thirst for blood, so
Yeah,
he's taking like a serum. And that's one of the subplots is that over the years he started to become immune to the serum, and he's struggling with that. So there's that sort of subplot going on. But the main, who else does this have? It has Stephen Dorff.
Stephen Dorff. I forgot about him. Once I forgot how much I enjoyed his performance.
He's
He
uh,
was
he's
an
De-
asshole.
he's Deacon Frost, and Deacon Frost is a vampire who is not a pure blood. He wasn't born a vampire, but he wants to essentially start a war with mankind. It's because as far as he's concerned, the vampires are higher on the food chain.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you knew this, but I did a little research for this. That's why I'm talking about these things, because we could talk about the sequence of the movie until we're blue in the face. But I mean, it's been 25 years for the most part coming up on, we kind of do know the general themes of the movie by heart. But some other considerations for Deacon Frost were Jet Li.
Jet Li, really?
It's a martial arts movie.
Wow, wow. There is a lot of Asians in the movie as well. I
Yeah,
mean, the one thing when they went in the bar, so okay, I could. Jet Li would have been incredible,
Jet
especially
Li.
the final scene between the
Yeah, with
final
the sword fight.
between those two. Yeah,
Yeah, but Jet Li opted to get involved in oh god, Lethal
Lethal
Weapon
Weapon.
4.
Lethal Weapon. Okay, yeah.
He got involved in the Lethal Weapon. Another person who was there um, uh, for Deacon Frost, who was thinking was Mark Wahlberg.
Really?
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg was a possibility, but it ended up going to Stephen Dorff, which is
Yeah.
fine. I
Okay.
think Stephen Dorff did a great job.
I couldn't see Marky Mark with the Funky Bunch sitting there jamming up there.
Well, I
Doing
don't
this
think he was
thing.
going to do it in his fucking CK briefs. I mean,
They probably would
uh,
have got him on the free somehow, some way. They always
back
showed it
then.
off somehow.
Back then. Yeah, 25. Yeah. Yeah, it's true, because back then he still was Marky Mark.
Exactly. You
He
still have
wasn't like doing The Departed and Scorsese films and Patriots Day and all this shit. Yeah. Lone Survivor. Oh, God. So, you had a lot of theoretical castings. I think they did a fine job. as is. Um, there was supposed to be
Overall,
a
I
stand.
enjoyed it. To be honest, I wasn't, and I'm still not a big Wesley fan.
Really?
He did great with the fight scenes, and I can see that. That whole I can't get that image of him saying yes out of my head. It was so cheesy. It was so cheesy. It's such a cheesy moment that um even when I first saw it threw me off. You know what I mean? But I did learn to as he progressed in the movie, I was able to connect with him more when he saw the humane side of him, when he with the relationship with the doctor, the lady that he saved. That
The,
relationship and those scenes were great.
all things considered, I mean, by the time 2004 rolled around, I mean, this was directed by Stephen Norrington. So Stephen Norrington, I think his most famous credit was that movie before this was The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah.
And I never really saw that. I mean, I don't think he's on the level. I mean, this is a great movie, but and it's the platform that Marvel launched, which gets no, which this movie gets no credit for. But he's no Sam Raimi.
Oh no, not at all. Not at all.
So I mean, Sam Raimi was looking for something way more complex. If we had been able to get, a superior director, I'm sure he probably would have, added. This wasn't the level of writing that they're, currently adding to the MCU, which has, in my opinion, pluses and minuses. Um, I'm not sure that
I'm not sure. I'm not sure you realize this, but Blade in the comic book series for a period of time end up joining the Avengers.
I'm not surprised.
He was a part of the Avengers, but something happened. I forgot why he got kicked out, but he did end up joining the Avengers at one time. So I can see them maybe reintroducing him in a later date, but they'll have to take all that because it's such a family movie. They have to take all that blood and gore away from him.
Well, I mean, we can get to do you know that they've rebooted Blade? There's going to be a new Blade movie. It's already been cast. It's Mahershala Ali.
Yeah,
My,
I saw the previews. I wasn't too psyched, but
yeah, I don't know how I feel about this guy as Blade.
He's a great actor. He's a great actor.
Yeah, I just don't know that he's Blade.
No, I don't think he's Blade, but you never know. He might find us something else within the character. I mean,
okay,
I think they cast him because he's such a great actor. So hopefully he'll bring something out.
Here's the thing: Marvel is not what Marvel was in 1998. So you're going to get some watered down. Now, Marvel is supposedly starting this branch off into horror with the new Doctor Strange movie. And then they're getting into like Jared Leto has been cast as Morbius the vampire. This is like phase 5. So this is a ways off. So there's going to be Morbius, and then you're going to get the Blade movie. I think Disney Plus is supposed to get to Werewolf by Night, these sorts of things. But I feel that with what Disney is currently doing to Marvel, it's going to be watered down anyway.
Exactly. I can't see Disney doing a good traditional horror movie.
No, they're not going to. And I was saying earlier that Disney couldn't make a movie like this now, probably because if they were to make something like this today, the women characters would be beating up Wesley Snipes. I saw what happened once they started with Thor. Did you see Thor Ragnarok?
Yes.
So like Thor's like there's like the two most powerful Avengers, Thor and the Hulk, but they're getting beat up by the Valkyrie. Thor is getting beat up by Kate Blanchett. The Valkyrie's even like judo tossing the Hulk. And
hey,
just
isn't it Captain Marvel who saves everybody in Endgame, basically?
Well, what ended up happening was no, not really. What ended up happening was they thought that because the guy who directed Ragnarok, he's just like I think he's kind of a woke person, and he ended up saying he was going to flip all the characters. Wait till I see what I do to all your favorite characters, you know. So he turned them into that, and then um, I think they said that they were Captain Marvel was supposed to be this huge release, but everybody ended up hating it
Yeah.
because it was just kind of feminist and on the nose and these sorts of things, and so that's why she had so little role in Endgame, because there was no positive reaction for her own movie.
Sign of the times.
Yeah, what's that old saying? Go get woke, go broke. But
Yeah.
I think that that's the direction that under Disney that Marvel is moving at. I think, and especially if you watched like WandaVision, or especially the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, would like somehow the Falcon needs a bank loan. You're like, what the fuck? Like, why does the
I know.
Falcon need a bank loan?
I know. Trying to connect, make them more humanistic, make so they're not as.
I think they were just trying to poke at white people. Whitey's not giving me a loan. White now, see, I have the thing like like the truth is the truth, and like I think it's bullshit that Tobey Maguire did not launch. It was Wesley Snipes,
Who launched the whole
right, who
Marvel?
launched Marvel. But then you come 23 years later, and somehow like would Blade go for a bank loan? Would any Marvel superhero go for a bank loan? Like that doesn't even make any sense. It's just a jab at the man. It's just more. I think it's just more woke.
Why not just ask Tony Stark, right?
Exactly. Ask Pepper. And it's like to fix a fucking boat. Like she would buy them like a new boat.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Give them a
but
big
they.
yacht. You want a boat? Here's a yacht.
Yeah, here's a boat. Here's $500,000. Go fix your crappy Uncle, Forrest Gump fucking Bubba Gump boat, and just go. But like, it's just, yeah. You see, and then I think with Thor, with the new Thor movie, I think Natalie Portman is getting his hammer, so I'm sure she's going to be beating him up. He's like the constant butt of jokes. So yeah, they're you couldn't make a movie like this today.
No.
Not from anyone, I don't think. And it was a shame because when I heard that they were rebooting, I wanted to see Wesley Snipes make a comeback.
He's way too old for it now.
Maybe. Well, there was a rumor also that they were going to cast John Boyega.
Really?
Yeah, but Boyega declined it because he said he wouldn't. He felt that was a role that belonged to Wesley Snipes, and he wouldn't do it without Wesley's blessing.
So what? Wesley, the original Blade, passed on his abilities to Bedoiga or something like that?
No, I just think that they were going to reboot it, and this was going to be the new. This was going to be the new Blade without any, same way that they've rebooted all the Spider-Mans.
Yeah, and found the brand new Spider-Man and all. Yeah,
Yeah, we're on our fourth Spider-Man now.
Yeah. Well,
so it's just going to be that without any explanation.
Nothing's going to top Blade. Nothing's going to top Wesley Snipes.
I don't think so.
Like I said, his acting wise is okay, but the script and the movie and everything, the way they presented it was incredible, and you can't top that at that time. You would not be able to top it at all.
No. And the second movie, even better, directed by Guillermo del Toro.
I definitely need to watch that again. I remember enjoying the second movie much more than the first, and
it's better than the first one, which is so rare that a sequel is actually superior to the original. That almost never happens.
I don't think they felt the first one was going to be that successful at that time. There's a lot of violence for 1999 in movies at that time, and so, or 1998, whatever it was. So I didn't think that they felt it was going to be that big. Maybe a small market of people who knew of Blade because they were, comic book fans and
they were loyal. Yeah.
But I think that you could see they put a lot more money, a lot more money into the second one than the first.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you also had a fantastic director. Like I'm talking the difference between Norrington and Raimi. What I should be talking about is the difference between Norrington and Del Toro.
Yeah.
You know, you know. So yeah, I mean, there was supposed to be in the first movie also. There was supposed to be a Stan Lee cameo. Apparently, he was going to be one of the police officers going to the nightclub in the beginning when he gets busted.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was going to be a Stan Lee cameo. That would have been really cool.
It should would have been consistent with everything else he did.
Yeah. So, um, my understanding, and I heard this once in an interview with Michael Jai White. By the time they got to the third movie, I don't know what the problem was, but I think Wesley was bent out of shape that they were like putting Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Biel on the posters instead of him. Which,
Well, at that time, Wesley was probably looking more for the big payout because it's when he was having problems with his taxes.
probably, um, which I have mixed feelings about. I mean, it's a Blade movie, but then again, if you were to watch or see a movie poster, you might see one of the co-stars in the on the poster. So yeah, it's Wesley's movie, but like if I'm watching The Punisher on Netflix and I look at one of the posters, if I see Vincent D'Onofrio on there, yeah, he's. I mean, if I'm watching Daredevil and I see Vincent D'Onofrio on the poster, then that follows. That makes sense.
Wasn't Lawrence on the third post or the second or third post of the Matrix? No.
He might have. Well, I think they were all on there or something like that. Him and Carrie Ann Moss,
Yeah.
along with Keanu. But
That's what it was funny, though.
I'm sure Wesley Snipes has a pretty big ego.
I've heard that's the biggest problem people have with him because he has such a big ego. He loved his women. He loved his. I mean, this movie really made Wesley Snipes in a lot of ways, the Blade trilogy, and put him on the map. Even though he did New Jack City
Yeah.
and all that prior to that, but crossing over, it helped Wesley Snipes, and he took it the wrong way, and he fell out of favor in Hollywood soon after that.
Yeah, I mean, you never hear from him anymore. I felt bad about that. And I thought that it was just a tax evasion thing. But once he came back, it didn't seem like anybody wanted to work with him anymore.
I just saw him in Dolomite.
Oh, is he really the Eddie Murphy film?
Remake, which is a brilliant and incredible film. But
I gotta watch it.
He plays a director, I think a gay or more of a transsexual director, but he's wonderful in it. Wesley Snipes blew me away. I think it's his best acting performance ever.
He's a good He's a good actor, and he's also in I think the sequel to Coming to America.
Oh yeah, he is. Yes.
Yeah.
I think Eddie Murphy's bringing him back over to help him out. I think all his tax evasion stuff is done. So now he can come back to the States to make films. He was making a lot of films in China or Japan or whatever.
Oh, was he really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought he had been blackballed or something, but I guess as long as the taxes were gone, nobody wanted to. Because he's a good performer.
He's basically turned into an action hero.
Yeah.
A lot of the reputations with a lot of action heroes were they weren't brilliant actors, but they could fight their asses off and they look tough and they can portray that. And he was on that road to becoming one of the big first African American action heroes.
Yeah, that's why he's in the Expendables.
Yeah, exactly.
He's one of the Expendables.
He's a black guy. He's trained.
Yeah.
He can fight his ass off.
Yeah. No, I just lost my train of thought with that one there. But yeah, I mean, this is, if you haven't seen it, if you're a Marvel fan, if you're a fan of action, if you're a fan of horror, this checks all three boxes.
Yeah.
It checks all three boxes.
Tracy Lords.
Yeah, and it's got Tracy Lords. It was still not looking too bad in 1998. I think by then she was only in her late 20s or something like that. So, Yeah. That didn't hurt. That didn't hurt at all.
I mean, the whole sequence, the movie was it was a great movie. Like I said, it was like the Matrix. It catches you, it grabs hold on you in the very beginning because that first fight scene, that bloody dance was what got me. That bloody dance blew me away. When they're
Yeah,
sitting there and the guy sees blood starts dripping on him, and the next thing it's a rage with all
yeah.
these vampires and blood falling on
You're looking at. I mean, I'm trying to think what the last, like Ant-Man and Wasp, or the latest Spider-Man or something like that, and then compare that with something like this.
him. Yeah.
Like Disney is not making that again.
Nah, I think it's a little off of Disney. It's a tiny bit off of Disney, yeah.
Just a tad, which
That's
is a
why
shame because, go ahead.
that's why I'm not excited by this new Blade.
I'm not excited about the whole phase fucking 4, man. I'm not excited about phase 4. What is it? The new Thor. So you're going to watch him get beat up by more women again. What else? Captain Marvel. I think she's got her sequel. Guardians from the Galaxy 3, which I'm not really all that enthused about because I wasn't crazy about the second one.
They're remaking
I,
a lot of them.
yeah, the Eternals. I still don't understand what that's about. I'm not crazy about any of it. And then this is still in phase. This is coming up in phase 5, and I know it's going to be some watered down. Oh, the new Doctor Strange. Now, Doctor Strange is supposed to kick off Marvel shooting off. That's also in phase 4. That's kicking off this new horror direction that they're going in. But I'm not holding my breath. I think Sam Raimi is directing it actually, so it has half a shot.
Has half a shot, but
I'm not betting my
Disney,
grandmother on it.
Disney and horror, no. I can't see them with a face of Blade on one end and Mickey Mouse on the other, and the two meeting. Just
They
no,
they
it doesn't be
they
crossed.
own they own everything now, man. They own everything. It's just the way it is. This is the times we live in.
And they own Star Wars, the Star Wars thing, Star Wars trilogy, right? The whole Star Wars.
Yep. If you go on Disney, you got Marvel, you got Star Wars, you got Disney, and you got Nat Geo. That's all on the Disney Channel, and I think they own Hulu and ESPN too, which is what broadcasts UFC. So they own like fucking everything.
Yeah, it took
So
over
yeah,
monopoly.
yeah, you're gonna watch it their way, and that's about all there is to say to that. Shit. So, is there anything you want to add before we? I mean, I think that's pretty much a good place to end. I was going to mention. Oh, yeah, there was two things I wanted to mention. One, there was an alternate ending on this, which apparently was like another 20 minutes, but they edited it out. Where Steven Dorff becomes like that blood god, Marva, or
Oh, before he becomes a big, fat Play-Doh man and blows up.
yeah, he actually was supposed to become this thing, but they couldn't get the special effects right. Um, there's one other thing I wanted to say, at least about this movie. Marvel had really good streaming content, and it was on Netflix. It was Jessica Jones. It was Daredevil with that guy Charlie Cox. It was Luke Cage with Mike Coulter.
Yeah.
It was The Punisher with John Barenthal. Completely unpretentious, action-driven, fantastic writing, comic book stories. Some of them going on as far as 3 seasons, and they completely canceled every show. And then switched us over to exclusive Disney, where we're all just suffering through these 4-hour movies, 30 minutes every week, which basically could be something that happens between movies, and then you could just summarize in the first 15 minutes of the next movie. None of these series like WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, they have no plans to make any sort of second season. I think we're getting a lot of filler content.
That's what I was gonna say. It seems like they're trying to connect everything for the next big movie, like justify what's his name carrying
The
the shield,
Shield.
you know,
Uh,
which was which for me, I enjoyed that whole storyline of how he was against of carrying the shield and how he became too proud and truly felt like he was an American and he earned the right to carry the shield.
I didn't have any problem with him carrying the shield. I like Anthony Mackie and I like his character. I like Sam Wilson. It was just a lot of the other things that were like too on the nose for me. In the end, I think when it came to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the only people I liked were I liked Baron Zemo. I like Baron Zemo, and I like that guy. Was it U.S. agent?
Oh, U.S. agent.
I liked the U.S. agent. I thought it was, like people are like, oh, he's just some, cisgendered white male who goes, across international lines and does whatever he wants to do, and I'm just calling it down the middle. The same way I call it for Wesley against Tobey Maguire is the same way I call it against, this other thing. But I was like, well, isn't that what the bald African ladies are doing?
Yeah, exactly.
But they're fucking
Exactly.
heroes. Oh, the Wakandans could do whatever they want to do. They're Wakandans. Yeah, it's like, fuck off, man. At least I'm going to root for my own country in some fictitious shit.
At least but the Wakandans, they had their own world where they were shielded from everybody else. So until they revealed themselves, no one knew where they were. No one knew they were there. Like he had a big empty spot on the planet that no one knew about.
Yeah, but I mean, like they're criticizing the one guy for doing the same thing that they're doing, but because because it's woke and it's okay to like you have to love bald black women, then of course it's perfectly okay for them to do it. I'm like, fuck off, fuck off.
They were woke though.
Oh yeah, of course, yes. Wakandans can do whatever they want, whatever go fuck yourself. So, yeah, I mean, I don't get the Punisher. I get bald African ladies, but whatever. These are the times we live in.
Yes, that's
so.
A fact.
Is there anything else you wanted to add for the movie?
No, I mean the special effects. I think you can't get enough of the special effects in that movie of the times.
Yeah, and right now it's broadcast on HBO. So if you have HBO Max or HBO, you can catch these movies. If you're a Marvel fan, if you're a martial arts fan, if you're a horror fan, this is a movie for you. These 3 movies are for you. They're good. It's good stuff. Okay, last thing, and this is a aside. A friend of ours, a friend of the show, the Night Watch Zone, Mr. Night Watch, had his YouTube channel taken away today. And I want to say to anybody who's seen this in the stream or who catches it on the replay, please a petition to YouTube through Twitter or your social media platform to get his page reinstated. He didn't do anything wrong, and I'm not sure if he got swept up in some sort of botnet, where bots just, go through some mass cleaning or something like that. But this is a guy and his 2 colleagues on the show that showed me a lot. He's been a guest on my show twice. He's one of the most generous people you'd ever meet. He's had no infractions that any of us are aware of. He's really upset and trying to figure out, exactly what happened and what his next steps are. But YouTube, if you're paying attention, get these bots out of your review process and get some people on your payroll to actually look at these things because, this is some, Skynet shit where people aren't actually having a chance to review these and people are just getting caught up in these mass sweeps and these are these people that do this work they have skin in the game and they spend a lot of time practicing their craft and creating a lot of content and just to wake up one day and find out that it's gone, that's not a good look for YouTube. So, do a little better, please. And let's reinstate the Night Watch Zone. He's got a great channel. His friends Coriander and Killian, his brother, they're putting out fantastic stuff. And he's one of the most generous people. He's not a gatekeeper who makes sure that, you don't get ahead and, he gets to stay where he's at. He's just so generous with information, as is everyone else on the team. And YouTube, let's do better from now on. Okay. And that's all I have to say. As pertaining to this show, if you happen to catch it on the replay, leave a comment, subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it if you feel it's worthy. And I guess that's it for now. I just want to thank you again, Rod, for coming back on. I really appreciate it. I'd love to have you back on again, man. I'd like to start, having a regular group of people, friends or, other content creators out there that, are good with talking about movies. Do you have anything you're working on right now that you want to let people know about? You got any productions going on right now out there in LA?
No, personally, right now it's kind of slow with the whole productions and Hollywood stuff. It's starting to pick up, but I'm basically on the back burner. I'm just doing individual monologues, just working on my craft, and I'm part of an acting company, Actors Co-op, and I have a couple of pieces that I did within the past 6 months on there. So if anybody's interested, just go to actorscoop.com, and then you'll be able to see little old me perform.
Is that where I saw the fences?
Yeah,
monologue. That was amazing, man. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Fucking A.
Yeah, I've done a few monologues for in that same context. So
yeah, that's not. Go ahead.
No, if anybody's interested, just go ahead and check it out.
Okay, yeah, that doesn't look like something simple to do. That monologue that looked quite. The difficulty level looked considerable. So, all right, you heard the man. Go check it out. Actors Co-op.
Yep.
Actorscoop.com. All right, that's it for us. Thanks so much, and Rod, stick around. All right.
All right. Bye, everybody. Peace.